So good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Alicia Walls, Chief Operating Officer here at the Washington County Community Foundation. And I want to welcome you to our brief WCCF Gives overview and social media seminar featuring WCCF Trustee Megan Chicone. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly switch over to my share screen so you can see the PowerPoint on Gives Day. And I just want to kind of cover a few highlights of the event. Just to kind of quickly recap, not a whole lot of new changes to the Gives Day program this year, which is great. We have our day set for Thursday, September 16th. Again, we're going to be hosting the day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. where we're going to be encouraging contributions through the WCCF Gives website. So the donation portal will be open only during those windows on that day. For donors who would prefer to give by check, again, we have instituted the postmarking date of September 16th. So that was a shift that we made last year as a result of COVID, and it really worked out well, I think, for everybody. We had a continuous flow of contributions. It was easy for our staff to process things as they arrived, as opposed to kind of getting all the checks at one time. And it just made for a really nice flow. And I think it helped too to take some, I think, of the stress off of everybody and getting the checks, in our hands on Gives Day itself. So, we're happy to continue that this year for 2021. Last year, another big change that we made was that the foundation was covering the credit card transaction fees that were assessed to every gift. Again, we've never charged any fee for any charity or any donor to participate in the day of giving, but unfortunately the credit card companies assess a fee on any transaction you make anywhere. And so that was something that we had to adjust for in years past. We were fortunate to get support to help cover that, to ensure that every dollar your charity raises is coming straight to you. So that was a really nice change, and we're happy to be able to provide that again in 2021. We're getting calls already. I know you guys love the WCCF Gives check contribution form, and I can tell you it will be available soon. There's just one more thing that we have to finalize before we're able to release that. So we appreciate your patience, and just want you to know that as soon as it's available, we'll be sure to make you aware of that and get that information out so donors can begin to use that whenever they're making their check contributions. As always, we need to have a form with every check that makes the processing more streamlined. It helps us to know where those checks need to go, because believe it or not, we do receive contributions sometimes that's just a check, there's no form. And so we have to do a lot of follow-up to try to figure out which charity or charities need to receive that support. So that's why those forms are really important. As always, checks should be made payable to us, WCCF, so that we can process them accordingly. And this has been much improved. Donors, trying to split their gift into multiple checks. So they're going to give your charity $1,000, but they, for whatever reason, thought that it would be more helpful to provide, 10 checks of $100. The reverse is true. So, we need one check from one donor, and then the Gives form is what helps us to differentiate, how that whatever total contribution is needs to be broken down. So I want to thank all of you for communicating that to your donors, because like I said, we saw much less of that last year than we ever have in years past. Now, just again, a few reminders and requests. A lot of this is going to be old news, but it's just helpful to hear it as we go through, the Gives Day preparations again this year, these little reminders. So again, let me emphasize that the checks that are collected at your charity's location, or checks that donors are mailing to us directly to the foundation, which is the preferred method, certainly if at all possible, need to be postmarked by September 16th. And again, we're looking at those postmark dates. Unfortunately, we had a situation last year where, a charity got some checks into the mail, but they didn't have the postmark date. For whatever reason, they were in the box, they missed the pickup, something along those lines, and we weren't able to count those checks as eligible for the day. So if you do have a late batch of checks you need to get in the mail, please make sure you're taking them in the post office. They're getting the postmark that they need so that we can count them as Gives Day eligible. Again, right now, things are still a little uncertain with the pandemic. And so, we are encouraging those checks to come in through the mail as opposed to being delivered to the office. And as always, no cash donations. again, things that you've heard before, but we're just saying again as friendly reminders. You may not use raffles or other games of chance to encourage Gives donations, and quid pro quo contributions are not Gives Day eligible. And again, the reason for both of these important caveats is that those gifts no longer become fully tax deductible if there is any possibility that someone will receive a good or service, something of value in exchange for that contribution. So again, I want to thank everybody for their efforts and being mindful of this. We certainly didn't see instances of this last year as we had in prior years. So good job, everybody, on that. Also, I just wanted to mention while we're all together, to stay posted on the status of the Gives gatherings. I know everybody was disappointed last year that we weren't able to hold these. We love them, you love them, the sponsors love them, our trustees love them, but we weren't able to get together in the same way that we had in years prior. We thank everybody who submitted their selfies. That was great. We were able to use those photos in some of our marketing initiatives. But the future of the Gives gatherings for 2021 remains unknown. As I mentioned, with the changing status of the pandemic, possibility, new concerns regarding this new Delta variant, I don't know what's going to happen. If we're able to host them, we will. If we're not able to host them, unfortunately, we won't be able to. So please stay posted. We'll communicate the decision if we are able to have them as soon as possible to you. And we will be using your designated WCCF Gives contact. So I just wanted to take a second to reinforce the importance of that information. I think in most cases that information tends to stay the same, but if you happen to have any turnover in your organization or you need to change your designated contact, please be sure to notify us so that that's information that appears on your charity profile on the WCCF Gives website. Everybody has a person from their organization listed, depending on the structure of your organization. Sometimes it's an employee, sometimes it's a key volunteer or board member. So just make sure that information is current, because that's what we tend to use as our designated person to communicate changes such as this. And as always, if you have a question about WCCF Gives, please reach out and contact us. Karen and I are available to field your questions. If you have questions from a particular donor, maybe the donor wants to do something new this year, use an IRA contribution, or there's some sort of unusual or special circumstances surrounding that gift, please feel free to give me a call so we can talk about it, so we can get that gift on our radar. The more information we know and the sooner we know it, the more we can track that gift and ensure that it comes to you. I hate to give an example that's a less than ideal situation, but we had an instance where a donor was making a contribution. I think it was from a fund they had with one of the big companies like Fidelity or Vanguard. And they wanted the gift to come to the charity they wanted to support via Gives Day. Long story short, the entity that had the fund had the wrong address for the foundation. They had a previous address. And so the check got sent to the old address. Then, once it arrived there, it was wrong, had to go back. And so there was a long series of events that occurred before the foundation even became aware of this gift, which was after the day of giving. And unfortunately, by that point in time, things were done. The day had been reconciled, the bonus pool was calculated, and it was just too late for us to be able to count that contribution towards the day of giving. So I try to use that as just a cautionary tale. And that, at any point in time, if we'd been aware that that was happening, we could have, been on the lookout for the check. When we didn't get it, follow up with the donor. We could have found out the address was wrong much earlier and maybe put things into motion as far as how we can resolve that issue a lot more quickly and have that gift be eligible. So just kind of keep those sort of scenarios in the back of your mind. If you're not sure, again, please reach out and contact us. We're happy to field any questions you have. I tell everybody on staff, having gone through more than a few Gives days now, we see every possible scenario under the sun when it comes to gift and how it arrives and whether it's eligible and not eligible. And we work through all of those as each one is encountered. So if you're just not sure, let us know, because certainly at the end of the day, we want to get as much as possible raised for your organization through this wonderful event. And so I see a question in chat. Oh, okay. Okay, that's coming from our next presenter, Megan. So again, here's our contact information for both me and Karen if you need to reach out to us here at the office. And again, our Gives Day sponsors, whose wonderful support helps to allow us to offer that bonus pool for you as an incentive. So I'm going to stop my share really quickly and introduce our featured speaker, who is Megan Chicone, WCCF Trustee. And Megan is the owner of Megan Chicone State Farm Insurance. She has 2 locations in Peters Township and in Robinson, and she's a 3rd-generation agent. Prior to having these businesses, she worked in corporate marketing for State Farm. So she's somebody who certainly understands, how to get a message out there and how to communicate a brand. She is a Washington County native, and she's been involved in a lot of organizations. And in addition to giving her time to the Community Foundation, she's volunteered as a board member for Leadership Washington County, the Peters Township Chamber. She's served on the Washington County Chamber Board. She's been in a leadership position with their Power organization, and has also been really actively involved in the Washington City Mission, Junior Achievement, Dress for Success, in the American Cancer Society. Megan brings a lot of creativity and enthusiasm to our board. She serves as our marketing committee chair, which has been wonderful. And we had a great conversation yesterday in which we were just talking about the training and talking about some of the things we wanted to cover. And what I thought was a really great takeaway for me was that Megan really cares about your organization. She cares about your charity. She wants to see you succeed. And it's really coming from the heart. So I'm glad that she's here today to help you. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to her.
Well, thank you. Well, it's great to be with everyone. Hopefully you're getting that lunch in while you're listening to me. But as Alicia said, I have some marketing background, but I am by no means an expert in social media. So I'm excited to hopefully help you and your organization have some type of strategy or plan, or just, encourage you to participate in using social media, specifically Facebook. That's what we're going to focus on today. But social media really wasn't around when I was in school. So it came out right in college, and it was only for college students. And so I have had to learn as I've grown in my agency. And honestly, it wasn't until last year when COVID hit that I really was super serious about, okay, I need to learn and I need to be an active user, because I'm a people person. I like to be out and about building relationships. And as we all know, that stopped immediately last March. And my fear was, how do I stay relevant? How do I stay connected with my customers, with my community? And the quickest, easiest, most affordable way was through using social media. And so hopefully in today's conversation, and again, I would love this to be a conversation. I'm here to help you and help WCCF make the day of giving the best that we've ever had. So please, if you have questions, you want to talk about things, if there's challenges, I really want this to be conversational. But we're going to start off. I'm going to share just 5 reasons to engage and really invest time in social media, because like I said, I really didn't invest that much time. I knew it was, sort of important to my business, but after last year, I really put a lot of time and thought and said, okay, yeah, I need to get more active. So number 1, it's extremely inexpensive. So low cost, low barrier to entry. I think most everyone on the call has some type of social media presence. So Alicia sent me a list, and I tried to go on and just follow everyone. So you all got a new follower if I wasn't following you already, just to kind of see where we were as a group. And I think most everyone has one. So you understand how to set up a page. So we're not going to get into that, but anyone can participate in social media, and you can boost your visibility very inexpensively. So I know that many of us have very small budgets for marketing. Using social media is one way that you can really maximize a small budget, and that's through using their boost features, which if you have specific questions, we can talk about that. But just know that this is a strategy you can use in your overall marketing plan that is very, very inexpensive. All right, number 2, so of my 5 reasons, would be just to build connections and relationships. Like I said, when you're stopped overnight from being able to be in front of people and you're searching for that connection, you go immediately to that social media. And it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay. And it's a way to build connections and relationships quickly to a mass audience. So whereas in the past, before social media existed, we would have to go to events, we have to shake hands, we have to be in person meeting, potential donors. You can get your organization or yourself in front of multiple people with one post or one engagement. So you're able to continue those relationships and build them through your strategy. Okay. You can also build connections with other nonprofits, other companies, not just potential donors. Does anybody use LinkedIn? I'm assuming most everyone has Facebook, and that's what we're going to focus on, but anybody here use LinkedIn? Do I see any hands? Yeah, a couple nods. Okay. I love LinkedIn for the professional aspect. And we don't have time to dive into it, but from a professional relationship building or making connections or just knowing who's connected to who, LinkedIn has been very beneficial to my small business. So that might be something that you want to explore, not just for you personally, but also for your organization if you're trying to make connections with certain people. Number 3, using social media is a key factor in search engine ranking. So are we familiar with search engine optimization, like the SEO, people going online searching? We familiar with that? Yeah, okay. So basically everything that you do digitally online all connects. And Google has this crazy algorithm that nobody can really explain. But to keep it simple, their goal is to get as many users as possible. And the way they get users is to make sure that when the consumer uses Google, they are getting accurate information that will keep them coming back. Everyone uses Google. Even my 4-year-old son tells me, Mommy, just look it up. Mommy, just give me the answer, right? So we're all going to these search engines to find answers. So if you're on the digital platform, what you're doing is you are making yourself more of a legit organization or a business to Google. Okay. So using the social media, having a good website, having certain keywords on your website, all helps your organic bump up when people are searching for local nonprofits, or maybe they want to volunteer and they don't know where to start, things like that. So using online social media will help boost your search engine ranking. That was number 3. Number 4, just brand awareness. So it's a way for you to put your brand out to the community. So just an extension of your website, assuming most people or most organizations today, most nonprofits have some type of website. It's just another way to, build brand awareness. And number 5, it keeps you relevant. I mean, social media is not going anywhere. Facebook use is continuing to increase, even though there is conversation around potentially decreasing the number of users. But that doesn't mean social media is going away. It just may be replaced by some other platform. Okay. So if you're not using it, or you're like, I really have no interest, maybe just think twice. Let's talk. I'll help you offline. But you really need to make it part of your overall marketing strategy. Okay. So any questions on just the 5 reasons that I would say are major reasons to be involved and get involved and make the time to have a social media platform? No one wants to talk to me today.
We're all convinced.
Okay. They're like, yeah, we already do all this stuff. Okay. So as we gear up for the day of giving, the WCCF, myself, all of our trustees, we want to make it the best day possible. And like I said, this is an opportunity to reach a lot of people very quickly over a couple months. We're really pushing it hard the week leading up to the day of giving. So what I'm going to share with you are just some strategies around what we can do in the social media Facebook space to help your organization be the best that it can on a day of giving. Okay. So got to have a plan. Number one, you have to have some type of strategy to build that social media presence into your campaign. So what has helped me as a small business owner is to have a social media calendar. So that might be something just to plan out your posts or the topics or the content that you want to push out a month before, a couple weeks before. But I use a social media calendar all year long. And it kind of helps me just kind of stay on track and know what's next, and helps me kind of brainstorm different content to use. Number two is along these lines of having a plan, is being consistent. So if you decide that you're going to post once a week, make sure you post once a week. If it's twice a week, make sure you're posting twice a week. Whatever you can make the commitment to, do it. You don't want to have a post and then nobody hear from you for a month. Okay. So that all goes back into the planning. There are people that post daily. I understand that some organizations' capacity is an issue, time is an issue, resources are an issue. So just, think about what you can make a commitment to and then stick to it. The more visual, the better. Does everybody use social media for personal use? Got a lot of, yeah. Okay. I'm sure you've seen this new trend of videos. Like, I have a TikTok account, but I don't use TikTok. But videos are super popular right now because they're visual. Keep them short though, like 8 to 15 seconds if you're going to do a video. I don't know if you scroll through a lot, like if you're Facebook scrolling on the couch at night, but I never watch a video. I mean, unless it's a topic that I'm really into and then I'm going to find it on YouTube, probably longer than 15 seconds. So short and sweet is the best on videos. The other way to make something visual, definitely a picture, but there are apps out there where you can create a slideshow with your photos. So you can make your photos look like a video. They're very easy. A lot of these apps are free. So check that out. But that's just another way to kind of draw attention to what you're posting. Pictures of babies and fur babies always seem to get the most likes on my social media pages. So if you can sprinkle in some of that, that's always good. But these images, you also want it to go along with your brand. And this is, again, part of that brand awareness. So you have to put some thought behind it. Number 4, just be authentic. Every organization is different for a reason. And we want to see that come out. Let your audience know who you are through the content you share. You want to just, be real and just be a person and someone that's part of the community, and people will really relate to that. So just make sure you're yourself. Be active. Again, that goes with the consistency. However, when I say be active, support each other. So, most nonprofits are going to be treated like a business, right? We create a business page on Facebook. And a lot of times the only people that are really seeing those business pages are your followers or people that like those pages. For your page to get more visibility, you got to be active with other people. So other organizations, other individuals, give likes, comments are big. And as you're more active with certain users, your content is then going to be pushed onto their page. Okay. And then the other way you can get your content is through boosting, which again is very inexpensive. And it's part of a feature that businesses can use to basically put ads out about, so you can boost the post. If something's getting a lot of hits, or you're like, yeah, I want people to see this, for $20 a day, you can set a budget. You can pick a demographic you want to hit, and it can hit up to, 750, 1,000 people that you wouldn't have otherwise hit that day. So definitely check that out, because there's a lot you can do. And I know Alicia and I have had conversation offline about using that. And it's a really neat tool and a way for everyone to be able to push things out very inexpensively.
Megan, I have a couple of questions. Do you want to? Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So the first is from Captain Amber at the Salvation Army, and she wants to know, do you suggest using the same post repeatedly and image for the day of giving, or switching it up throughout the campaign? We try to schedule our posts for the month ahead of time.
Yeah, I would definitely switch it up. not that you can't use that same post, and maybe you post it on day 1 and you use it again day 14. Likely people aren't going to remember that, but definitely add some variety. Because what happens is it's kind of like an ad. If it's the same ad over and over again and you're scrolling and you see the same thing, it almost becomes like almost like white noise. Like your eyes don't see it because it's something you're used to seeing. So I would definitely add some variety to your content for sure.
Great. And then we have another here from Margie Wood at the PA Elks. She wants to know if you can give an example of an app that they could use to make pictures into a video.
Oh yeah. So on the iPhone, just because that's what I have, iMovie is an app that's free. Canva is a really good app. There is a small expense to that, but you're able to do so much on that. Pick collage. You can do collages. The only thing is you have to pay to take their brand logo off of it. But those would be a few. But Canva is really good. It's maybe $100 for the year to use, but I've had a lot of success with that. Yeah, Canva.
Yeah, we use Canva
uses.
here. We also use a video program called Animoto. Again, it's a subscription service. It's not very expensive, but all the videos that you see that are produced by the foundation in-house, we use that for. It's a really great tool, and I think we only pay a few $100s for it. So relative to, for us, it works out well.
Right. And relative to like what you would pay for somebody to create these videos for you, it is truly amazing what our phones can produce. It might take you a little time, and I'm gonna jump to number 7 since we're on the topic about using our resources. So I was saying, like, leverage your resources through volunteers and interns. So I started an internship program last year in my office, and it was a game changer for me. I had a high school student. She was a senior in high school. She had work release. She would work for me maybe 4 or 5 hours a week. And she did all of my social media content, like the videos, putting the pictures together, taking some pictures, we would like do big vision brainstorming. And then I'd say, like, this is your project, go do it. Oh my gosh, I learned so much. It's amazing what these young kids know. I shouldn't call them kids, young students know. And then I had some college students as well, and they're the ones that introduced me to some of these apps. What would take me 2 hours to do, they can do in like 20 minutes. So just think about who you know, like, who are your volunteers? Who are your donors? Do they have students or kids that are in high school or college that need volunteer hours? Do they need just resume building and experience? This is a great area for them because they're quick at it, and they don't know anything else. Like, they don't know anything other than an iPhone or a smartphone, right? They grew up on that. So they're just so quick. So if you can find somebody younger that has these skills, and then you can just kind of help them focus on content and captions and, making sure what you're putting out there is accurate. It really was a game changer for me. So I actually lost her a couple of weeks ago. She's out in Vegas doing a dance training, and I'm trying to find another intern. And holy cow, I forget like how much time, you do have to invest in this. It is a lot, but it's so important to stay connected. And this is one way that I can continue my brand out in the community, and I can continue to stay connected with others. So just a couple of things that have worked for me, but our younger generations, they pick up on this stuff so quickly, and they have taught me probably more than I taught them in their internship. So another quick tip, do we have any, our library uses Constant Contact. How far in advance should we send our e-newsletter reminding patrons of the day of giving? So Alicia, I may have you kind of step in, because you guys have a pretty good strategy of sending information out. I imagine that if I were doing an event, right, it would be, announce it maybe 6 weeks prior, and then you want to hit them 4 weeks, and then on a weekly, and then that week of probably every day. But would you do something different?
So for Constant Contact, it's an email subscription service. So it kind of depends on your audience and how frequently you communicate with them. So like for us here at the foundation, let's work backwards. We always send a blast on the day of giving, because what's the fastest, most convenient way to remind somebody of something? You send them a message. So, it's short, it's punchy, it's to the point, and it has a call to action. Then from there, it kind of depends, it's situational. We have, as multiple publications. We have our Giving Matters e-newsletter, which goes to everybody. We have specific publications to our charities. We have specific publications for target donor groups. So we will always put a message in those publications whenever they're issued on their publishing schedule, just so that reminder is there. Normally, we'll also do an e-blast about a week prior to the event as a reminder. And so anything beyond that, like Megan said, 6 weeks, you want to start to build your timeline out to like a 6 to 8 week campaign. And we're here right now. So if you're not already making your donors aware of the fact that the day giving is September 16th, get that worked into your next communication, because you want that date on their radar. And then from there, the constant contact emails would work in tandem with your social campaign. So one of the things that's really nice and efficient about constant contact, and that's what we use, so that's what I'm most familiar with, but I know the other softwares that do the same thing, have these same capabilities. You can share your publications out through social really easily through those email subscription services. So even though you might have, let's say, 2,000 people in your email database, they're getting that message. Put that message on Facebook or Twitter, blast it out, so then you're reaching the audience you have in the social realm as well.
That's a good question. Yeah, good question. Okay. I skipped over number 7. So just quickly going back to my number 6, just make posts shareable. Sometimes people don't realize that the post isn't shareable, and you want to encourage volunteers, donors, anybody that's interacting with you on social media to make sure that they can share it on their page, because that's how they then start spreading the word. So just make sure that you know how to do that. Tag others. So if you have donors that are using social media, make sure you tag them to let them know, because if you tag them, then they get a notification. You can engage with other people in the community. Maybe you're tagging another organization in a post that you're doing. Again, the more people you connect with that one post, the more reach you're going to have. Okay. So number 7 was leverage your resources. Another part of the resources, like I said, I didn't know a lot about social media. I've had to learn this on my own. There are a lot of great podcasts out there. So I don't know if we have podcast listeners, but there is a local gentleman. His name is Aaron Hunt. And I wrote it down. It was episode, I think it was, let me see, 103, episode 103. And his podcast is Personal Brand. And it's Gary Vee. I don't know if you've heard of Gary Vee. He's a big promotional or inspirational speaker. And it's the $1.80 strategy. And I'm not going to get into it. You have to listen to it, but just to give you an idea. The other person that I follow, do I have any Beachbody fans on the call? Anybody remember or know Shailene Johnson? She's always on the info commercials for PiYo, the Pilates yoga mix thing, Turbo Fire. No Beachbody. Well, she has switched her platforms from being like a health guru to knowing the ins and outs of social media and specifically Instagram. But she has very basic like education 101 curriculum on social media. Like, what are hashtags? How do you use hashtags? What's the importance of engaging and what your content says? I think I spent $25 for like a 5-day seminar where you just logged in at night for an hour. And she taught me so much. It was like the best $25 I've spent. So just like I said, be a student of social media, because it is always changing and there's always something new. So yeah, I have a Shailene fan, Kim. Thank you. It was like, I can't be the only one that knows Shailene Johnson. And then Adam Hunt. Are you asking me the name of the podcast that I said? It's Aaron. So AARAAOR or AARON, Aaron. Okay, awesome. Okay. Number 8, make sure content is accurate. So for Day of Giving, Alicia will have logos that are available to download. They're probably already on the site now, right? That you can go to the WCCF website and download. We just want to make sure Gives. We just want to make sure that what we're promoting is consistent along everyone's platform. So just make sure that you get that information directly from the community foundation. Okay. Seek education on social media. So I also follow, so for my business, insurance is kind of tricky. I don't have like a yummy dish that I can show to engage people, or like the latest hairstyle or nails or clothing. So it's a little tricky for me to think of content. So I always focus on like team education and community involvement. That's kind of been my strategy on my social media page. But I follow a lot of real estate agents just because their content gives me ideas for my next post. So if you can follow some other national or local organizations just to get some ideas, that's great. That's what we're all sharing different ideas every day. So I don't want to say steal it 100%, but steal their ideas.
We use the word emulate around here.
Emulate.
Emulate.
I like
yes.
that. I'm going to start using that. So emulate other ideas. And then finally, just have fun with it. I mean, I get it. If you're not super familiar with social media and it's one more thing on your to-do list, it is a pain in the butt, right? So if we have that attitude of, oh, I got to do the social media, I got to post something to Facebook, right? That's how we're going to feel about it. And that's probably what's going to come off in the vision of your page or the look of your page. But if we go in with the attitude of like, let's just have fun, let's all learn, let's take this next 8 weeks to like really learn and engage with each other and have the best day giving ever, then it's gonna change the outcome. I promise you. So I get it. You're like, this is one more to do, thing on the to-do list that I don't know about. I'm uncomfortable using it, but if we do it together, you leverage your resources, we all learn from each other, we could really, really make a difference. And that's it. That's all I have. So what questions can I help with? Oh, I like Captain Amber. Good ideas are meant to be duplicated. I like that. Okay, so question from Megan. You talked about video being popular. Do you see a difference in engagement of pre-recorded versus live videos? Not in my experience. I think it depends. Probably just depends on the content, I would say. What did you pre-record versus what's that live video? I think a mix is nice. I don't know, Alicia, do you have, I don't really think there's been a difference in my experience.
I'm with you. I think it depends on the content of the video. I will say too, if the content's strong and it's interesting, what we've kind of seen happen in little occurrences here is that you may not get a lot of activity initially. Like you'll get whatever, whoever's on is going to see it. But then you'll start to see traction as time goes by and your viewership will increase. So depending on when and how you want to do it or what it's about, just know going into it that it's likely, especially if it's pre-recorded, something's gonna happen immediately. And then over time, you might see more activity. So it's more over a span of time as opposed to immediately. Things that are live, like a big reveal, let's say you're Facebook living something and there's a lot of hype, it would be directly associated with how much you build excitement leading up to, the big reveal of the Facebook Live moment. So, and again, that too is going to depend on different factors, like what time of day it is, what day of the week it might be, your audience, and they're using whatever platform you're having on. Let's just say it's Facebook, because that's what we've been talking about today. So if it's mostly, your core audience is women, ages 50 to 60, they seem to be on Facebook at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. I would schedule my video or my live stream or whatever for that period of time, because you're going to see the best return in that moment.
Yeah. And Alicia, you make a really good point about, it takes some time to build this up. Please don't be discouraged if you don't see immediate results. It does take time, and do not let the number of likes affect your feeling for like, why I am only getting 3 likes. Why am I posting this? Think about how you use social media. Everything you see, do you like it? I don't. I see a lot of things and I scroll. So all you're trying to do is use the platform to get something in front of somebody that may have not seen you before. So whether they like it or not, they still see it. Okay. So just don't get discouraged by like the number of likes or comments, things like that. Pre-record, Captain Amber said pre-record, I think, are good if it's telling a story versus live tells a call to action in the moment. A lot of times the day of time for posting can play into your response as well. Yeah. Yeah. Great points. Yeah. Pre-recorded definitely for telling stories. Stories really sell. They always sell. Stories are the best use. But you're right. Live is a call to action. It's happening right now. We need to act right now. It's a great point.
Again, so talking about stories, what are some of the story topics you think that might be most compelling for our charities, in terms of like putting together that narrative on social?
I think any special event or significant point in the organization's lifetime, I think is really can pull heartstrings, right? Anytime that you've made a difference in someone's life, I think video testimonials, maybe having somebody that has been impacted by your organization or even a donor as to why they support your organization could be something that they could say in a quick video. You could also, like I do testimonials, like team testimonials. So if my team gets a review, an online review from someone, I always make sure that I highlight them and I put it in quotes, and that's part of my content. But how cool would it be if you actually had a donor that could share like why they support the community or their relationship with you, why they continue to support your organization? I think hearing it from the actual people that support you is really impactful.
That's great, Megan. We love testimonials. We talk about them all the time. We've incorporated them into applications and processes because they are so powerful. And what I think is great, and we even do this here at the Community Foundation, you get an email from somebody and sometimes there's like one sentence in there that is just amazing. Like it's perfect and it really captures the essence of what they want to say. Connect with that person, that client, that donor, whoever it might be, and see if they can use that, because that's all you need. You don't need, a 500-word narrative. You don't need even a paragraph sometimes. Sometimes it's just a sentence and you could turn that into some content.
Absolutely. And your donors are helping you. They like to help people. If you call them and say like, I really appreciate what you said. Would you be willing to let me share that on social media so I can help share our message with others? Absolutely. They're going to be on board with that and give you the go ahead to do it.
Yeah. I would be looking for maybe some Gives Day donors from last year. Last year was a big year because of the pandemic. We had a record-breaking year for Gives Day. It was unbelievable. Being able to award 1.3 million in grants the day of giving. And it was because the community cares. And it was really a lovely thing to see, we didn't know how this event was going to turn out and everybody came out in droves. Look at that donor list that we gave you. See if there's somebody on there who has mentioned to you in passing or would give a really great statement. And see if turn that into some content. Say, I'm donor whatever. I gave to through WCCF Gives to Charity XYZ last year. This is the reason why. And that encourages other people to want to get on board, because hopefully that person, you want to look for that person who might already be on social media. Maybe they have a lot of followers. Maybe they are somebody that would like to be featured and want to share that out to their circle. So those are all things that you can look for when it comes to identifying people who might be willing to give a testimonial and also a good candidate for one.
Mm-hmm. And this is also a great opportunity this day giving to get people that maybe think they aren't able to give a lot to make a difference. It's minimum $25 to participate in the day of giving. And if you can, on your social media platform or your marketing strategy, show the donor, what does $25 do for your organization? Like that's really big. I know we partnered last year. We did a Here to Help campaign, and WCCF helped myself, my uncle, and my cousin, and we raised money all through social media. And we really focused on, if you just give $25, what does that give the food bank? What does $25 do for the Washington Hospital? What can they buy with $25? And it is amazing how far $25 can go. So maybe that might be some ideas for content. Like, what does $25 mean to your organization? Tell that story, or have someone say, like, because someone donated $25, we were able to purchase this for someone, things like that. So this is a perfect day to be able to show that you don't have to donate thousands of dollars to make a difference. Okay. Any other questions? Anything in the chat that I'm missing? I don't think so. No.
Does everybody have a social media strategy, or at least a rough idea of a social media strategy for the day of giving? Yeah, I see some nods. It's still, you still have plenty of time. I think that's one of the things, Megan, I think you really did a nice job of communicating, is, now's the time to start. It's not too late. And with a little bit of planning, it's easy to put these kinds of campaigns together. You just have to pull the elements. So lots of nice feedback in the chat.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm gonna give everyone my email. You can find me on social media, message me. If I can help with anything, pushing anything out, strategy, if you're thinking about something, again, I'm not an expert, but I've really had to kind of like throw myself into learning it and being vulnerable and uncomfortable. So I'm happy to help with any ideas or any questions that you have. Any questions about just the day of giving in general? I recognize all these names and faces. I know you guys are veterans at this point, so you've got it together. All right. Well, if we have no other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap things up. Oh, we do have a question. Is there a Clicks contest this year? No, we're not having any contests related to the day of giving this year. It's just going to be the focus on the day itself. Oh, whoops, I'm sorry. I've been sending, this is funny. I've been sending all of my messages that were supposed to be to everyone to Marjorie. So, oops, sorry about that. Let me just really quickly give everyone my email. I'll stop. And then I was just saying, happy to help. Well, Megan is putting her email out in the chat to everybody. I just want to remind everybody on the call that our capacity building grant cycle is open. You may have seen the article in the paper today. Karen's been getting lots of questions and inquiries, and we're starting to see applications come in. So if your organization is thinking about submitting an app for this, and we encourage you to do so, please give us a call. Let us know what you're planning and how we might be able to help you craft the most successful application possible. All right. Well, that's all I've got, everybody. We're done early, so enjoy your extra 10 minutes and have a great day. Thanks, Megan. That was great. Thanks for joining.